Okay, it's 12 o'clock here, and from the RE/MAX office, this is Carl Rogers here with the Nordaune Team. My position on the team is listing partner with Beth Nordaune and Director of Sales. And today, the purpose of this webinar is to talk about how to buy a home in a weekend. So the plan is we're going to shoot for a quick presentation, 15 to 20 minutes, and then leave some time for live questions and answers. So whether you're joining us here live or watching a recording, we appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to any questions that you might have. So what I'll do is I'll turn off my camera just to save a little bit of bandwidth here, and then we'll go into our presentation. And again, if there's any questions, you can definitely log them on the side, and we'll take a look, but we'll likely go through the slides and then address them at the end. So thank you again for joining us here, and let's get started with how to buy a home in a weekend. All right. So I am sharing my screen here now, and we have 5 top tips for buying a home in a weekend. What you need to know about buying a home in a whirlwind. So our first slide here talks about the home buying process in a big picture view. There's many things that go into buying a home, and although it is one of your biggest investments of your life, it should not be rushed into. But with our current market, with home selling within hours, we're just giving some advice here on what we've experienced in the past years, mainly looking at showing homes, finding a suitable home, writing a great offer that's competitive, and negotiating that offer and getting a signed purchase agreement. So the purpose again of today's webinar is just to focus on this portion of the home buying process. We can address other questions either later in the webinar here or in follow-up conversations as well. So the first big tip that we have for everyone in buying a home is definitely to get pre-approved. The pre-approval letter is a letter that shows that you are an eligible buyer. There's different choices that you can do as far as a lender you can use. As you may be aware, you can use any lender in the nation, any lender online, although we highly recommend you work with someone local here in Rochester. There are, again, many different lenders you can use and different types of mortgages. The main are FHA, conventional, and then as every springtime in Rochester, we have a large influx of resident buyers who have just recently graduated medical school, and they're getting matched to a resident program. There are various banks, Mayo, Bremer, Wells, and other local lenders, again, that have great loan products that tailor to those resident buyers. Most of them are zero down, and some of them even can hold off on the PMI, the private mortgage insurance, as well. What will go into your pre-approval is funds that you might have available for down payment, debts, assets, and your credit scores. And ultimately, that's up to, again, your lender. We will be in close contact with you throughout the process, but the pre-approval is of course, goes on top of every purchase agreement, again, showing that you are an eligible buyer. We do encourage that you do shop around. Lenders want your business. They will fight for your business, and if they know you are looking, they may cut some of their rates and fight to get you as a client as well. Okay, so this is just a perception that we've seen from a national organization called Keeping Current Matters. 40% of buyers now don't actually know how much they need for down payment. 15% of buyers coming into the process think you need at least 20%. And the key component around that 20% is you do kick out that PMI, and that's why there probably is this perception that you need at least 20% down, and then 21% of people think you need at least 10%. Long story short is, again, sometimes you may not even need a down payment. There are great loan products that you can either go zero down, finance your down payment into the mortgage, or you can go with, again, FHA at the 3.5% down, or conventional, which is either a 3 or 5% down payment. But again, the purpose of this slide is that there are common, perceptions out there that are not true as far as down payment goes. So we do, again, encourage initiating a conversation with a local lender on that. Okay, number 2 talks about in Rochester with such a hot market, and again with all of the influx that we get every single spring, it would be a great expectation for you to prepare for multiple offers. You should be coming into this with realistic expectations, and then looking at what you really want, what you and your family really want, and what you and your family really need. With inventory low again, and home selling quickly, although you may have a long list of wants and desires and the perfect home, but then if you were to look at that and see what you and or your family actually needs, those may be different, and we encourage you just to kind of look at what it is you want versus what you need, and how long you really will be in this home. Some folks, average first-time buyers, are in a home anywhere from 3 to 7 years, and we do find that usually after 3 to 5 years, people are starting to think about moving on, either out of town, job relocation, or with a growing family, possibly an upgrade. So again, to approach your home buying experience with realistic expectations. Also, again, in Rochester, we feel that it is a very fair market here, where agents do a great job at pricing their homes. So do be prepared to pay a premium for your home. Houses can and will sell for over asking price, again, with a multiple offer situation. Over time, appreciation will help recover paying those additional monies if you do end up spending more than asking price. We have seen that over the years, past few years, homes are appreciating at about a 4 to 5% rate here in Rochester. Again, so this is talking about our appreciation over time, and just kind of since the late 80s through the early 2000s, and then we had kind of this boom and bust, and where we are currently, again with appreciation at about 4% over the years. So it is a great time, a great investment in real estate to purchase at this time, and things are looking really good for Rochester over the coming years as well. So this is a brief slide showing over the next 5 years, if you did purchase a home around the 250 mark, with that appreciation that's expected over time, with maintaining your home, doing a great job, maybe a few updates here and there, but appreciation could possibly bring you up $42,000 over the next 5 years. So in 2015, what we found is that, long story short, real estate is the best return on investment. This source gave us about a 6.8%, whereas Dow Jones and silver and gold were probably your worst investments that you could have put your money in 2015. So again, Rochester especially, but the real estate market is a great investment to put your money in. So number 3, we want to talk about interest rates. We've seen over the past few years interest rates at a low, and right now, depending on debts, assets, credit scores, things like that, they're probably around 3.5 to 4, give or take, but it all depends on your particular situation. We do expect, since they are so low, that over time, over the next few years, those likely will increase, and that will impact what you might be able to buy. So this is just a table showing that over 2016, we can see that Fannie, Freddie, MBA, and NAR are all expecting that interest rates will creep up over 2016. So again, this may take a $250,000 house with a mortgage payment. If you wanted to stay at that mortgage payment, if your interest rate jumped up by 1%, your then purchase price of what it could maintain that same mortgage payment could drop down $20,000, give or take. So it is a great time to take advantage of, again, phenomenal interest rates. So number 4, we want to talk about timing. And it is important before you do come to Rochester for a weekend, or even during the week, to come up with a plan. What are your top choices? And how long is it going to take for that loan approval process to happen from an accepted offer to closing? Again, with that plan, you should have a backup plan if you don't find a place, or if your number one choice, if it sells before you come to town, or if you're beat out in a multiple offer situation. What are choices number 2 to 5? So it's important to team up with a great agent who's going to help you develop that plan, and again, come up with a backup plan if that doesn't work. So number 5, the last one, is who you work with matters. So it is, again, a huge investment to be buying a home. It's a very big decision. You want to make sure that you're looking at past sales and what might be coming for resale value. What are your specific financial goals? We want to make it a stress-free process for you. And again, working with a great agent who has been in the business for a while, who has great negotiation skills, who will be looking out for your best interests. Reputation does matter in town, especially if you're in multiple offer situations. You want to be working with a credible and reputable agent who is well-known and well-liked in the community. That can and will make a difference on sometimes how your offer is received by both the agent on the other side and sellers. And of course, in making this big decision, you want to have trust and good rapport with the agent that you choose to help represent you through the process. So it is, again, very important in this process who you work with. So we're just under the 15-minute mark, and those are the 5 key points that we wanted to stress for you in how to buy a home in a weekend. So we did go through that fairly quickly, but I just want to make sure we had plenty of time for questions and answers. So let's open up that panel. Get my questions and answers. Where's my... There we go. All right, we'll just stop screen sharing. Okay, so we have a question. We'll select this one on working with a local lender. Okay, so working with a local lender is very beneficial to you as a buyer. We have, again, as we mentioned, local. I'm sorry, you can get approved with online lenders or lenders outside of town. But the benefits to working with a local lender is sometimes we have smaller banks that can bypass some of the hurdles in the lending process. A lot of our local lenders have underwriting that's right across the street, so that minimizes delays in there as well. But it is important when submitting an offer to who that pre-approval is from. If it's someone here in town, the listing agent on the other side will see that it's a credible lender. They know they're good, and we may not have any issues down the road as far as timing goes and things like that. So it's very important to be using a local lender. Any other questions? So we have a question on what the weekend might look like. This is a great question as you prepare for a visit to Rochester, to be pairing up with a great buyer's agent that will develop a plan for you. It would be good to set up, say, a Saturday the day before. And usually when you come to town, if working with someone on our team per se, you would meet at the RE/MAX office. We would go over maybe the 5 to 8 homes that you've selected for the tour, and come out with a game plan there. And then usually what we found is that riding together is best, as it gives additional time to talk through any questions along the way. And then you go and do your home tourings. And sometimes people take notes on listing sheets that we can print out for you. Other times we can bring a clipboard or a notebook, but we highly encourage you to, as you see each house, compare it to the last, and then as you go, you'll kind of develop a list of what's your top choice, and if that's still in the running, and then you kind of rank them 1, 2, 3. Typically, after a touring of 5 to 8 homes, then you come back to the office and decide which one is in first place, and then you go from there, and you talk through next steps in the process of writing up a competitive offer through a purchase agreement. Typically after that, when you submit an offer, it is part of the purchase agreement that time is of the essence. So agents in Rochester typically do a great job in responding quickly to that. So after your offer is submitted, you wait to hear back from the agent on the other side, and then your agent will advise you accordingly after that. Okay, so we have another question. When should I come? Is there a specific time of the month or time of the week that is best? This is a great question. I mean, it's really up to your schedule. What we found in real estate is Saturdays are very busy real estate days. So if it does work for you to come during the week, you may have less competition in an afternoon or an evening. But if it only works for your schedule to come on a Saturday, that is great, and that works fine too. Specific time of month or time of week, again, whatever works best for you. So I think time of month, as you look through the listings that your agent has set up for you in your custom website, you can pick those out. And again, I think there's no specific time of month that would be better or worse. It's all about when you find the list of homes that you'd like to see, and work out the schedule with your agent. Okay, so what if we don't like anything we find in the weekend, but we're in a real time crunch before our move? Great question here. With inventory low, that may happen where you come for a weekend and maybe what you saw online maybe looks different in person. So if you do come and you don't make a decision, that's totally fine. We'll come back to your agent, take a look at your big picture timeline and your plan. And what a great agent will then do is work their best for you to check around both in the office and outside of the office in the community through other brokerages to see if there's any listings coming that we can be forewarned about, keep top of mind, and then in the coming weeks moving forward, we can either catch some possibly before they hit the market or keep our eye on the new listings. And what we have done in the past, you know, if scheduling doesn't work out, is video tours. So essentially what an agent can do for you, if a new listing comes on the market, looks like it's going to go quick, contact your agent and they can likely go to the home, set up a video tour for you, send that up to YouTube, and that would be a way to kind of virtually see the home without seeing it in person. We've had many people do that, and you know, you put your offer down, inspection contingent, and then come to town for your inspection and to view the home. And that is a contingency, so if anything comes up in the inspection that you're not you know, comfortable with pursuing forward, then that's an option to back out of that one as well. But there's many options if you don't you know, come to town and find one on the weekend on what your agent can do for you moving forward. Okay, so we have another question on what do I need to do before I come besides meeting with a lender and getting pre-approval. So great question here. I think, you know, that pre-approval is #1 priority, but what you need to do before you come is just, again, prepare yourself mentally and have realistic expectations on what the process is going to look like. Write down any questions that you have, you know, for your agent, whatever it may be, on timeline, costs involved, competition, multiple offer strategies. There's 5 key points that we've found in a purchase agreement that you can strategize in multiple offer situations that would be a great conversation to prepare for as well, with a couple kind of bonus features that you can do to really add a competitive edge to your offer. Okay, so another question on what kind of financing options are available for you. We mentioned FHA and conventional. Where do I get more information on those options? So a lot of people think FHA stands for like first-time home buyer. That's not the case. It stands for Federal Housing Administration, and then there's a conventional loan as well. So the 2 big differences on those are down payment minimums. FHA is 3.5, and conventional, there is a 3% loan you can get, but most of them start at 5%. To get more information on those options, either reach out to someone here on our team, and we can get you, you know, lender contact info or help with additional questions, but your best source will be a great local lender here in town. Okay, so any other questions here? We have 12:24, a few minutes before the 30-minute mark. And one more question: if I'm only going to be in Rochester for 3 years, is it worth it for me to buy, or should I rent? This is a great question because we have a lot of people, you know, weighing this out. Whether you invest in real estate and or you know, put your money you know, into a rental. I think the best way I've heard that summed up is whether you rent or you own, you're going to be paying a mortgage. It's just much better when you're paying your own. So of course we are highly going to recommend you know, investing in buying and purchasing a home. And another way to look at it is, you know, even if you are only going to be here for 3 years, to look at your home as like a long-term savings account where you have whatever kind of down payment you've put into that home as you know, equity. And then if you can make additional payments on your principal over the 2, 3, 5+ years that you're here, again, it's just a great way to think about owning a home as like a long-term savings account. So even if you are only going to be here for 3 years, with appreciation and the great market that we're in, we do believe that purchasing is going to be a great option for you. All right. Let's see if there's any other questions. While we're waiting for any other questions, we have our next webinar coming up here. So April 14th, is it possible to buy a home online without being in Rochester? So that will be April 14th. We do these webinars over the lunch hour. So you can look forward to that. Again, April 14th, is it possible to buy a home online without being in Rochester? We'll look for any other questions here as we wrap up. So I guess in summary, I can just say that, you know, again, it is a big decision for you to be purchasing a home, and you never want to rush through the process, but sometimes, you know, desperate times call for desperate measures, and with our hot market right now, with homes selling fast, it is the reality of our current market where you're going to need to probably, again, make a great plan to see, you know, a list of homes, 5 give or take, and then be ready with a qualified agent to help you make a decision on one of those that you will proceed with an offer. So definitely possible to go out, look at your options, and purchase a home in a weekend. And then throughout the month and a half to 2 months moving forward, your agent will help you through that process to ensure it's a smooth one for you and successfully hit your closing day. So we'll just see if there's any more questions here as we wrap up. I think we're good. So again, my name was Carl Rogers, Director of Sales here on the Nordaune team with RE/MAX Results here in Rochester. Again, we appreciate your time, whether it was live here or watching a recording. And please feel free to let us know if you have any questions on how to buy a home in a weekend. Thanks for joining.